Hey, welcome back to the channel. Hey, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe, please do that and turn on your post notifications and hit that thumbs up if you like the content. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to actually work on a 2004 Lexus RX 330. And what we are going to do is change the front struts. I've already changed one to kind of get an idea of really how to do it. I've never done this before. With the exception of the one on the other side. If I was going to rate this, I would say it's probably in the 6 or a 7 out of 10. There's a couple things that you really need to have. The very first one, we actually went off on vacation and I had penetrating oil going against some bolts that just were really, really hard. I don't know if these will be the same way, but we'll just test it out. But a couple tools that I ended up getting and went out to Harbor Freight. I got a 3-ton jack because you do need to put that up. Of course, you're going to need some type of a lift. And then I got some deep well sockets. Now, I also have an impact wrench, but then I have a kind of a pretty big pry bar. I did go out and purchase a larger pipe. But with that penetrating oil being on there for, I think it was about 2 weeks, it ended up breaking loose as soon as I came back, so I didn't have to use the pry bar. We'll see how this works. It's been on there since 2004, and this is 2022 right now. They've never been replaced, but the one up front here is really bad. It's really got a lot of noise, and you know that I don't see that it's leaking anywhere. We'll get in there and take a look at that, but there's just something wrong with it. So I think something has broke within there. At 18 years, gosh, you'd expect something to happen. So let's go ahead and let's get this tire off, jack this car up, and get her moving. So after I get these lug nuts all the way off, one thing I always like to do is take the tire, put it up underneath, just in case that thing decides to come down. Of course, the jack stand's going to have it, but we're also going to take this down because I don't want to just have that sitting on that. We'll creep this down really slow. And I'm just going to put this up here. Just as a separate jack. Okay, so let's get in here and let's take a look at this. So I went over to Harbor Freight today and it was free flashlight day. So look at this. Works just perfect there. So there's a couple bolts that we've got to take off. There's 3 up here on the top, and then there's actually 1, 2, 3, and then there's this one here. So we will use the jack at a certain point to lift this up and down. I'm seeing some oil up in here too. We may have to take a look at that as well. But one of the things you really want to do is saturate this stuff with penetrating oil. I mean, really saturate it. Now some of these may come right off. Now this being a 2004, the one thing that I did see, there were some other folks that had different years. So if you see right here, there is not a hex nut in there. If there is a hex nut, you'll want to hold on to that, but I've just got a deep well socket that I'm actually using for that. I do see the damage right here. So this rubber boot is broken, so that is dead in the water. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna take and we'll find another piece of metal. So actually that's bright enough in there. We don't need that other. But one of the things I'm gonna do is I am gonna tap on these. So what you wanna do is you wanna loosen all of this, but really liberally spray that stuff on there. And I'm gonna do it again. You should probably let it set for a good amount of time. Now the ones up top, I didn't have any problems with those. And it's really here on the sides. And those nuts will end up being pretty nice when they're finished. So I'm gonna let that sit just a little bit. I'm gonna then try to break. If I can break it a tad, I certainly will. Somehow I don't think this will work. So let's see something here. I've got a breaker bar because this was not working. And let's see if I can get a little torque on this. Wow, it's not. 14 millimeter. We'll end up just getting that out. Let me go ahead and I need to get a reducer. Actually, not a reducer. This is a 3/8 onto a 1/2 inch. Okay, loosen that up a little bit. I did see that this dropped a tad. And actually it's a little loose, which that's good. So maybe this will help with the nuts. I don't know, but let's see what we can do. And there's a little clip on this side here. It's just kind of a plastic clip. Just kind of move it out of the way. See how it kind of fits in here. This is the only kind of a pain in the behind because you do have to kind of manipulate this around. So I put the jack in, took a little tension off of this. I'm going to take a little bit more off. Well, it's still bound up there. And I'm not sure what's wrong with this jack. It keeps leaking. We got this jacked up, and let's just take this last thing off. Okay, so this is off to the side. Let's see how that goes in. Everything should be fine. We're gonna just let this sit. So after, this is actually the next day, I just kept working and working and working. And finally I was able to get that off. So we'll take and get this pulled off. I have to get my nuts up above undone, but we should be able to get this off now. Wow, that was a little bit rough. I used a breaker bar. I used a lot of penetrating oil. Just get in there and put penetrating oil in. Just keep working it. Depends upon, of course, this is 18 years old, so that's a long time for those bolts to be really kind of locked in there. But it'll come out. Just took some time, so let's get the rest of this out. Try something a little different. Let's see if we can do this even by one person. So I've got this so that it's on here, and we're gonna come up here and we're gonna remove these nuts to see if we can just drop it down from there. So let's go ahead and do that. So we've got this set. It's kind of riding a little bit here. I do know that this, you can probably take that off, but I'm not going to. I didn't take it off on the other one. But this did just drop down. Gotta watch because there's a rubber boot here. You don't want to damage that. But I do have this out enough. I'm gonna slide it back and then just twist it. So this is our worn one. It looks pretty bad, but that wasn't too hard. Let's get in and take a look at our new one. And these are heavy. There's a warning on these. Of course, you don't want to undo this top button here. So the one thing that I did notice is that this is a CarQuest. It's not OEM. Well, I guess it'd be manufactured to OEM, but it's not original manufacturing product. So these nuts are a little bigger, and they actually are lock nuts. They're not much bigger. And let's see what we can do.
You need to now push it down. There we go.
Didn't have to do. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Thank you.
It's still kind of.
That's fine.
Okay. I mean, they're not very far.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
I need to just kind of get things in a certain place so I can move them.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I can see it.
Thank you. That was a tough one. So let's see if we can get this up and get a bolt down in here. You know what? I don't know why I'm trying to lift this. Why don't we use the jack? Okay. There we go. Got those both in. The other thing, so what we'll end up doing is I'm going to lower this down and we'll get this in. Maybe. Let's go ahead and let's get these up here in. Okay, so we've got that in. Looks really good. We'll get attach this. Huh, I didn't notice that could actually get these vents out. So we still need to get this in. I think with that being tight there, there we go. Just gonna crank these down, but boy, they are tight. There's like a little notch in there. You will definitely see it because it's kind of like almost like a C. Clips in there. This one here, both sides, kind of, there's a little hole, put that in there. And then this one here is just right up from there. Okay, that is in there. So everything's tight, everything's where it should be. I didn't change anything, with the alignment or anything. So I don't think we would need to get an alignment, but we never know. We'll have to see how this kind of tracks. So I'm gonna drop this down, then I'm gonna raise the car up. We're gonna put the tire back on. Okay, that's all torqued down. We're gonna put everything up and we're gonna take it for a little test drive and see if that fixed our problem. So here we go, taking this test drive. I'm not expecting anything out of the norm. I'm expecting it to be quiet. But I've also, we're gonna go see if we can find a place to take those struts back to. I'm just gonna ask the auto parts store. So far so good, nothing's fallen off. Let's come out of this bump here. Seems very quiet. I actually think we have it fixed. Oddly enough, it seems like it's riding up higher in the front, but I think we've got it fixed. So just to kind of give you an idea of the cost, it was going to cost, I think, $700 to $800 to have two of them fixed, the fronts, but they were like $186 or $402 altogether. And I did have to buy some sockets. And, there's a few tools that, of course, tools are always good. But took care of those. I think we have this fixed. I'm all happy. Thanks a lot for subscribing, and I guess if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We'd love to be able to get our subscription followers up a little higher. More than 50, that's what we'd like to do. But turn on those post notifications and hit that thumbs up if you like the content. Thanks for watching.